All right, so this is our most recent test that we took, and so just pointing out we're going to be using 3.14 for pi as we go throughout this video. I'm going to zoom in on number 1. It says which formula could be used to find the volume of the cylinder shown at right. So the formula we're going to be looking for is this: volume equals area of the base times the height. And so what we know, this capital B is the area of a circle. We're going to have to substitute pi radius squared for this. And so when we're looking at our answer choices, what we need is our radius and our height. So we'll have, so we're all good on pi. And the radius, so this is the diameter. So diameter divided by 2 equals radius. So we're going to be able to eliminate this answer choice. Honestly, all of the answer choices, the only one that has the radius equals 3.2. And then the height, this equals the height. So we'll be left there. Number 2, which is the closest to the volume of the solid shown. So again, this is representing our diameter. So the radius is going to be 21. We have V equals 4/3 pi radius cubed. So when we substitute in, we'll have 4/3 times 3.14 times our radius, which is 21, and then we're going to want to make sure to do that to the third power. So when you put that in your calculator, you should get an answer there. Moving to number 3, we have a bowling ball. So this is also going to be a sphere. V equals 4/3 pi radius cubed. V equals 4/3 times 3.14 times our radius, told us here is 4.25 cubed. So you should be able to get an answer there. Volume. Okay, again, we're doing volume of a cone. So we have V equals, from your formula chart, 1/3 area of the base times the height. And because we have a circular base, in order to find the area, we have pi radius squared. So whenever I see here, I'll have V equals 1/3 pi radius squared times the height. So when I substitute, it'll be 1/3 times 3.14 times the radius. So this is our diameter, so our radius is going to be 4 squared, and our height is going to be 9. Okay, so from here, once you multiply those numbers, you'll be able to get an answer. Number 5, we have the volume of a cylinder. So we have V equals area of the base times the height. And they're giving us a cylinder, and our height is 6 centimeters. And they're telling us the circumference equals 8 pi. So if the circumference equals 8 pi, that's not something we've used, but we know that we have two formulas. We have 2 pi times radius, and C equals pi times diameter. So I'm going to use this information they gave us to solve for the radius. So I have circumference, which is 8 pi, equals 2 pi radius. So in order to get the radius by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 2 pi. So this will become just radius. That'll become 1r. And then 8. So the pi's will cancel. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So our radius here, radius equals 4. So from here we have pi radius squared for capital B, and then our height. So V equals 3.14 times 4 squared times 6. And then from there you'll be able to plug those in, 3.14 times 4 squared times 6. So this initial one is how we solved for the radius. Okay, going to number 6, we have a cone, So we have a cone with a height of 8.4 and a radius of 5.2. So V equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. So once again, B equals area of base. So our base is a circle. So this is going to be pi radius squared for our circle. Circular base. So 1/3 times pi radius squared times height. Then we'll have 1/3 times 3.14 times 5.2 squared times 8.4. And then if you plug each of those in, you'll be able to get your volume answer. Then moving here, we have a cylinder. We have a tomato paste can, that's a cylinder. And the can has a radius of 1.5 and a height of 4.8. What is closest to the total surface area? So from your formula chart, we have 2 pi radius times height plus 2 pi radius squared. And then from there, we have our radius equals 1.5 and our height equals 4.8. So we can just go ahead and 3.14 times 1.5 times 4.8. And then I'm going to erase this so I can keep writing. This is 1.5 plus 2 times 3.14 times 1.5 squared. So if you put that directly in your calculator, you'll be able to, sorry, these are kind of, I'll use parentheses. 1.5 being multiplied, each of those. All right, what is the volume of the cylinder shown below? So V equals area of the base times the height. So for our big B, remember we have a circle, so we have pi radius squared times the height. So then we're going to have 3.14 times, so this equals the diameter, but the radius is going to equal 5 squared times the height, which is 6. So multiply those across, and that will give you your answer. What is the closest to the volume of a sphere? So we have V equals 4/3 pi radius cubed. So V equals 4/3 times 3.14 times 2.2 to the third power. So go ahead, 4/3 times 3.14 times 2 to the third power. All right, what is the closest to the lateral surface area shown? Okay, so lateral surface area, S equals 2 pi radius height. So once again, this is equal to the diameter, so the radius is going to equal 4, and this is going to equal our height. So once we substitute, 2 times 3.14 times 4 times 12. So that will be able to give you your answer there. Moving on to number 11, we're looking for total surface area of the prism. So S equals perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. So I'm going to use this as my base. So when I redraw it, I'm going to have 12 and 12 and 6 and 6. So we need a perimeter of our base, area of our base, and the height of our prism. So to find perimeter, we're going to add these up. So 12 plus 6 plus 12 plus 6, and that's going to be 36. The area of our base is 12 times 6, and that is 72. And the height, this is the height of our prism, so it's the thing connecting our two parallel and congruent bases, which is going to be 15. So from there, we have 36 times 15 plus 2 times 72. All right, so there's that one. Okay, in the figure below, the side lengths of a base of a triangular prism are 5, 8, and 10. The height of the prism is 16.5. What is the lateral surface area of the prism in square meters? So here's so remember we always have a triangle as our base. So we're looking for lateral surface area, which is surface area equals the perimeter of the base times the height. So that means we need to find perimeter and height of the prism. So to get this out of the way, this is going to be our height, which is 16.5. It's the area between our two bases. And then the perimeter of our base, so I'm going to redraw my base right here. So I have a 10, I have an 8, and I have a 5. So when I add all of those up, so perimeter is 10 plus 8 plus 5, and that's going to be 23. So we're going to have 23 times 16.5. And then you'll fill that in. You'll have the answer given to you. Okay, what is the closest to the length of segment BC? So we're looking for this length here. So in order to solve for the side length of a triangle, we're going to be using the Pythagorean theorem, which states a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I'm going to go ahead and label this as A, B, and C. We know that this one is C because C has to be the longest length. This is the hypotenuse. So from there, we'll have 14 squared plus b squared equals 21 squared. So then 14 squared is 196 plus b squared equals 441. So then we'll subtract 196 from both sides. We'll have b squared equals 245, and then take the square root of that number, which will give you b equals 15.7, which is D. All right, we're doing total surface area again. So remember this is we have a base back here too. They're both triangles. We have these two triangles. And then we have this, which connects our two bases. So I'm going to redraw my base. So we have S equals perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. So we need P, B, and H. So when I redraw my base, I have 13, 13, and 10 with a height of 12. So that's this here. And perimeter, we're going to add them all up. So 13 plus 13 plus 10, and that's going to be 36. And then the area of the base, so area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So this B and this A are the same. So 1/2 times 10 times 12, which is going to be 60. And the height is going to be 14. And then when you substitute, we'll have S equals 36 times 14. Plus 2 times the area of the base, which was 60. And then you'll be able to get that number. And our last one is a dilation shown. What is the rule? So the first thing I want to point out are these primes. So this right here is the new, and this is the old. This is our pre-image, and this is our image. So it's getting smaller. So it's getting smaller. It's a reduction. So remember the x and y have to be the same, so these are different, so this can't be the right answer. And they have to be being multiplied. So this example right here, this would be a translation. So that is not correct. And then it's getting smaller, this would be bigger. So it can't be this, we'll be left with this. All right, so hopefully, I know that was really fast, but you can slow it down and work it at your own pace as you pause it.